Merry meet and welcome. Welcome to the realms of mysticism, the occult, and magic, where your possibilities are only limited by your imagination. Welcome to the Witch's Cauldron and discover the knowledge you seek. Gather round the cauldron and even stay for a spell. Brightest blessings to you.
Merry meet and welcome to the Witch's Cauldron. My name's Paula. Today I want to speak about the new moon in Capricorn that will be occurring on January 2nd, 2022. Now, energies in 2022 in general are going to be shifting and very different from what we've been experiencing the past couple of years. And it's going to still highlight the perspectives of control versus freedom. That Saturn-Uranus conflict, with Saturn being, the status quo and the rules and government, versus Uranus and its chaotic energy of challenging the status quo, of breaking free, of, freedoms and things of that nature. So I think 2022 in general is going to be very dramatic and unstable. The conjunct between Saturn and Uranus for the past 2 years, Saturn has had the upper hand in this alignment, with governments imposing controls, locking things down, and asserting that top-down power. The same thing with corporations, with, companies, saying if you're not vaxxed, you lose your job, that kind of stuff, that top-down kind of hierarchical energy. Saturn is about the status quo, about the way that things have always been. Uranus is about the future, challenging the status quo, challenging that top-down power, and the shifting of paradigms. Uranus is also about the truth and awakening, and it's breaking free, it's independence, it's encouraging us to ascend to a higher state, to a higher vibrational energy. And I believe that this year in 2022, Uranus will begin to get the upper hand of this conjunction. And it's going to be a very, very different energy than what we've had in 2020 and 2021. I think that there will be some very shocking revelations in 2022, a lot of truths coming out, toppling of power and structures, and not only governmental structures, corporate, financial, economic structures, things of that nature. And this will spur individuals to lash out and revolt and rise up in rebellion against the power structure. And I think we're going to have scenarios of even more protests, of even more riots and, fighting, breaking out between individuals with opposing viewpoints. And I just want to encourage everyone to try, as I've stated in other videos, to try and see the various viewpoints without lashing out in a violent manner. This kind of energy is going to make us very prone to wanting to lash out in a physical manner. And usually violence is not the solution to anything. Where the solutions lie are in working together to see the various viewpoints and then coming to some kind of consensus to take away the old and build back something new that's even better in its place. Okay, but you can't do that when no one will sit down and talk and even try and see the differing viewpoints, whatever they may be. I'm not on one side of an argument or another. I'm just saying, before you lash out at someone for expressing their viewpoint, why don't you ask them why they think that way, rather than just attacking, especially on social media. I really encourage people to try and talk to each other and try and understand where the other person is coming from, and then come to an understanding, because agreeing to disagree is still coming to an understanding. It doesn't mean you all have to think the same way. We can have different viewpoints, but we don't want to use violence and lashing out as a way of trying to solve things. That usually solves absolutely nothing, and it gets us down in a very negative vibrational space when we do something like that. You know, you get stuck in a negative energy level instead of bringing your vibrational level up to rise above what the differences may be, to try and work together and work things out. So, I mean, that's on an individual and a governmental point of view in one woman's opinion here. In January, the nodes, the North and South node, will be moving from their current alignment in Gemini and Sagittarius, where they've been for the past 18 months, and they're going to be moving to Taurus, Scorpio for the next 18 months. The South Node right now is currently in Sagittarius, and we see that energy of old belief systems beginning to start to crumble and fall away. The South Node is our collective past. The North Node is our collective future. With the North Node moving into Taurus, this places the limelight on the economy, finances, currencies, the earth, nature, food supplies, the environment, loans, mortgages, debts, defaults, taxes, things of that nature. The South Node in Scorpio, moving into Scorpio, will be placing light on secrets, especially sexual secrets or sexual misconduct coming out, particularly involving those who are in power or in powerful positions of authority. If you think about Scorpio and its association with the scorpion sting is all about poison and toxins. So there may be some instances where secrets regarding poisons and toxins may come out and see the light of day, and the truth may come out about certain things. I'm going to reserve what I think that may be. I think that additional focus will be placed on toxins or poisons, or even possibly a major hazardous materials event that has been tried to be covered up, or something of that nature. And remember that hazardous materials doesn't just mean chemicals. It can also be biological in nature. Okay. Jupiter moves into Pisces on December 29th, the day that I am recording this video. And it's going to be moving very quickly through Pisces. And it will move on into Aries in May. Remember that Jupiter usually spends a year in a sign. But in October, Jupiter will backtrack into Pisces again, where it will remain through the end of 2022. On January 1st, New Year's Day, the dark moon, the day before the new moon, or the night before the new moon, I should say. The dark moon will either be in Sagittarius or in Capricorn, depending on where you're located. Because the moon goes void of course here on the East Coast in the middle of the day here on the East Coast of the U.S., and then it moves into Capricorn at 6:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. So you can kind of figure out from there, where the placement may be based on where you're located in the world. And the dark moon is when we take the time to do our shadow work, to really look at what no longer serves us, and to take a really hard look within. Take a hard look at people, places, and things in your life that no longer serve your best interest, especially if your positive energy is being sapped or taken away by negative people, negative circumstances, or negative habits. The moon moves into Capricorn on New Year's Day at 6:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as I said. So with that, you have both the Sagittarian and Capricorn energies influencing that dark moon. So keep that in mind. On January 1st, the sun is also trine Uranus. Uranus is all about the future and shifting us to a higher calling, ascension, and moving us forward. Again, reinforcing that dark moon energy to have us look, where do we really want to be? Are we happy where we're at? Are we happy having our joy taken away from us by negative people, places, or things? And how can we let those go to make room for new things to come in that are even better, that will serve us, that will help us ascend to a higher power? Now, January 2nd will bring in the new year with a new moon. And remember that as magical practitioners and energy workers, that new moons are all about new beginnings, new projects, new energy, new ways of doing things. And this energy often requires us to tear down the old, to create that void for the new to come in and fill that void. So this helps us make way for new things to manifest in our lives. This is perfectly tying in with New Year's resolutions, and I'll get into that in just a little bit. And the new moon occurs January the 2nd at 1:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S., 10:34 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, U.S., and 6:34 p.m. UT in the U.K. On new moons, the sun and the moon are always together. And with them both being in Capricorn, this is very strong energy for initiating new things, for beginning new projects and things of that nature. And remember that Capricorn is the cardinal earth sign. It's at the beginning of winter, and it influences initiatory earth energies. So these energies could be things regarding wealth, career, home, finances, job, things of that nature, your material things, food, everything like that. So if you want to really focus your energies, look at where 12 degrees of Capricorn falls in your natal chart. Now, there are all kinds of free natal chart software out there that you can use, websites. The thing is, you have to know your time of birth, where you were born, and the time of birth includes not only, the month, day, and year, but also the exact time of your birth, okay, to get the most accurate readings. The moon and the sun at 12 degrees of Capricorn are in a very interesting alignment. They are at the midpoint between Pluto and the dwarf planet Ixion in the sign of Capricorn. Pluto at 25 degrees Capricorn, Ixion is at 1 degree of Capricorn. Pluto, again, focuses that energy on top-down structures, government, corporations, institutions, things of that nature. And Pluto, moving through the last few degrees of Capricorn, is about the unearthing of corruption, lack of integrity, lack of transparency. And this will be Pluto's energy until it exits Capricorn in 2024. Now, Ixion is known as the lawless brother of Pluto. And in mythology, Ixion was a king, a leader. And instead of buying bridal gifts for his father-in-law, he decided to murder his father-in-law. Zeus, the king of the gods, gave Ixion a second chance, but Ixion instead tried to rape Hera, Zeus's wife. So he was spun off into eternity for his actions. So Ixion has to do with being lawless and immoral, okay? But remember that, for every shadow side, there is, a light side to be had. Ixion's brighter side is finding your bliss and doing what makes you happy. So we also have Venus in retrograde, and she has been retrograde since the 19th of December. Venus is now conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. Venus will be retrograde until January 29th when she moves stationary direct. Venus was exactly conjunct Pluto on December the 25th and will finally come again to exactly conjunct Pluto on March 3rd and then will exit Capricorn. This energy places a focus on banking, finances, the economy, cryptocurrency, and money in general. This focus is akin to birthing new financial systems. But to make room for the new, the old has to fall away. We're also in the energy of the U.S. natal Pluto return. I have a separate video on that. Look for it on my channel if you are interested. So between now and February, when the Pluto return is exact, there is definitely going to be more economic turbulence, not only in the U.S., but worldwide. I also have my eye on what's going on with China and several of its land developers that are on the verge of default or are in default on loan payments, and they might need to have a major bailout from the government, similar to what the U.S. had to do or did in 2008 when things came crashing down the financial system in the US. Venus Pluto can also make us feel very intense emotions. It can also indicate that someone from the past is showing up again, okay? Or it can be intense emotions about a new relationship that border on obsession. So just be very aware of those energies where your emotional well-being is concerned. What's really interesting is that Venus is within 22 minutes of exactitude of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that occurred on January 12th, 2020, that kicked off everything with regard to like this pandemic and shifted energies into play involving overreach of governments, top-down controls, hard times, challenging times, etc. Capricorn is the sign of government and that top-down control. So this is also very interesting because Venus is retrograde. So it's almost like revisiting that energy that was in play that kicked all of this off between Saturn and Pluto. And I think people are going to be taking a very hard look at how well governments have or have not been handling the pandemic. Now, Venus will also be in hard aspect during the new moon, okay? And the moon will shine a light on betrayal in a personal relationship or a major betrayal that is more widespread, like the collective, like a betrayal of a major government official, things like that. Now, those who have big involvement in their chart of the cardinal signs, that would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, you're going to be very activated during this time. So look at where those signs fall in your chart, because you could have some major ups and downs and shocking revelations and very intense things going on. This can be intense emotions, harsh words, and sometimes it's like these emotions, like I have very strong Cancer and Libra in my chart, in my personal chart, a lot of it. I have a Libra moon and a Cancer Venus. Okay, so I have found myself absolutely hating everyone and everything for no plausible reason. Okay, it's just like a wave of emotion where I just hate everything. And I have to not let myself stay in that frame of mind. Looking at where or if you have those cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn in your chart can help you identify why you may be feeling a lack of control and those intense emotions that make no sense, okay? Capricorn drives us back to our own inner authority, autonomy over ourself, rather than having someone force us to do something or trying to control us. We are really chafing at that, being held back, having those restrictions put on us. And I think that's going to ramp up even more in the next year. Now, on January the 2nd, Uranus is trine both the sun and the moon. So this is expanding us to a bigger truth, to opening ourselves up to the cosmos and an awakening of spirit. It's stepping up our energy to a higher frequency. Remember I said those negative emotions and anger and hate and lashing out keep you at a lower, more negative vibrational energy, and you want to try and stay at that higher energy and even higher to ascend. We're being called to ascend and to think about new ways of thinking, of innovating, and that kind of emotion and that kind of energy, okay? Chiron at 8 degrees of Aries is square the sun and moon at 12 degrees of Capricorn. This relates to sickness and your health, but this new moon energy is about new healing solutions, new treatments, new innovations in that healthcare that might come up and break us out of the pandemic we've been in for the last 2 years. Now, Jupiter moved into Pisces on December 29th, and it'll be there till May 11th. This is an out of sign T-square to the nodal axis. Okay, this gives Jupiter a very similar energy to Uranus, and it's about looking to the future. And it's linked to the truth and the law. Jupiter in Pisces is also about dreaming big. So combining that with the new moon and your New Year's resolutions, I encourage you to dream big. Don't be afraid to set that New Year's resolution that you think is just too far out there, too ridiculous. No way could I ever do that. Set that dream. Dream big. Because this energy of Jupiter and Pisces will magnify our manifesting abilities as magical practitioners and energy workers. It will help you bring those dreams into being, okay? That's it for this video. I'm going to do another video for my predictions for 2022 in the next several days, but this should help you set the intent if you are setting your New Year's resolutions or going to be doing that new moon ritual to manifest your wildest dreams, to bring everything you've ever wanted into fruition, not only for yourself, but manifest a better world for our collective. Okay, so with that, my friends, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. What do you want to dream big and bring it into manifestation and manifest it during 2022? So with that, my friends, as I always say, merry we did meet, merry we will part until we merry meet again. Be well and walk in love and light, everybody. Bye.